Hello and welcome. Appreciate you guys showing up. Gonna have a little fun tonight. Should be pretty good. Basically, let me get this started here. What the hell happened here? All right. 1 second. All right. So today, we're going to load up some RMR, some jacketed hollow points. They will be the NPRs, or multi-purpose round, and we shall see how they do. Shoot them at a later date, but we're going to load them up. One thing, I was hoping to get the reloader dude over here because he is super knowledgeable, but maybe he'll jump in. I did send him a link. But I wanted to give him kudos for talking about overall length with barrels. So a good example is, where's it at? Is the tightest gun that I have in 9mm is the CZ. And this is part of it here. But I basically took the barrel out. 75 SP01 tactical. And what I will show you that I learned watching the reloader dude, because he's very knowledgeable. I am new to reloading. I've been doing it for a while, but nothing compared to a lot of the guys out there, like the reloader dude or C-Max Arms and so on and so forth. SoCal, WTF SoCal, he's a big reloader. Pops Quest, he reloads a lot. What you'll notice here is the overall length, and you will see in those two bullets that one is definitely taller than the other. Now with the Acme bullets, I noticed watching the reloader guy talking to Pops Quest a long time back, the overall length needs to be shorter with these bullets due to I don't know what the name of it is, but before the Olive, I think that's how you pronounce it. There's a lot more to it, so it's a lot more, a lot more touching the barrel as it's going, which is actually nice. But with that said, we need to pay close attention when reloading, and especially if you're going to load bullets that you want to work in all your pistols. So here's 100 of the RMRs, and I'm going to figure out what the height is right now to figure out how to reload these. So I did earlier last week, I think, or maybe 2 weeks ago. Hi, you guys. Pops is actually out there listening on the road. So hi, and Swinger70. The Hornady XTP has a different type of point to it. It's a lot more aggressive. And the overall length that I loaded these to were 1.85. And these will fit perfectly in all of my pistols. One thing that you'll notice is right here, you need the bottom of that case rim to touch this part of the barrel. I'm sure there's some technical names that I'm screwing up, but you will notice if it doesn't do that, it will have a problem ejecting out of the pistol. I noticed that, like, here's an over exaggerated example, but see how there's a lot more height from the bottom of the case to this notch here. I'm going to go technical term of notch because I don't know what it's called, but there's actually spacing in there. And when you push this in, if you were to slide this forward, if the gun was put back together, you would notice that it's very like sticky and basically sticks in the lands, the grooves of the lance. See, like trying to get this out just from pushing on that like that. So that would be one of the bullets that would be a pain in the ass to eject. But with that said, let me find something to pull this out with. You will notice that if you go like this one goes inside the case gauge and shows that it'll work. So specifications for this one is more tolerances than this barrel on the CZ. So it's something that you know, will work in a lot of firearms, but it won't work in everything. So I kind of been basically reloading to this barrel here for now until at some point I may get a firearm that has even a tighter tolerance. But that's what I'm doing. So basically, we're looking for that. So I'm going to go through, and I already checked all the grains. I'm running tight group at 3.9 on 124 grain jacketed hollow point by RMR, which is Rocky Mountain Reloading. And right now I'm going to work on the right height, the overall case length. And I know I have this set up right now for the Acme bullets, so it's going to be a little different. I'm going to start high and go back down. So, should probably move the camera, but I just want to BS anyway. So we got Inside Freedom. What's up? Stan Ulch. Headspace Gage do the same thing. Good question. All right, so I basically have one in it, one shell that's been primed already. I'm going to dump powder in it, and then I'm going to start high and then just keep squishing it down until we get the overall case length that basically looks good. The dimensions on Hornady website, it's 1.150, which is a pretty tall bullet. So I don't see that working in this CZ pistol. So I'm going to definitely probably be shorter than that. But once we do that, we'll function test it and see if it works. I do have a couple firearms and loaded ammunition in here, but you know what? Hey, Mr. Bullet, the reloader dude's here. What's up?
How are you?
I'm not hearing you on the mic yet. That's why I didn't notice you. No, now you're muted. Let me see if that's awesome. Thanks for showing up. Boom, boom. Let's see. We got to fix this problem here. Oh, you know what? It could be me. Talk again.
Hello.
There you are. All right.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for showing up. I'm going to turn you up. I don't know if it's me or... There we go. Can you guys hear the reloader dude? Let's see if they can hear.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
There we go. That's sounding better.
I'm not seeing the group chat. I wonder how you pull that up. I see the chat, but I don't see anybody talking in the chat. Maybe it's just me.
There's quite a few people out there already, but the are you on the watching the? You probably also got to open a window and do the live broadcast from Isyour6covered.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, go tell your story. I was listening. I was interested. Go ahead.
Oh, I tell you what, a lot of this video has to do with you. So I'm super excited you're here because I did have some issues originally with the overall length on the Acme bullets.
Right.
You got me started off on the Acme bullets, which is cool. And through you and a lot of my friends shooting, we really like these, especially for the price.
They're a good bullet if you load them correctly, yes.
And then, but yeah, the case length on the overall for the CZ, like like you talked about, I think it was your Kimber.
Right.
It's very tight. And I was definitely noticing that when you were, basically racking the slide back, you could feel it's something sticky in there, bound up, where you'd have to like almost smack it.
Right.
And that was kind of worrisome because I'm like, well, shit, how short can I make these without like getting crazy pressures? And so I watched your video on it, and I was like, sweet, all right. And you actually said, because I wrote it down right here, 1.050, and I didn't need to go that far, so I went to like, I think it was 1.08 or something. So I was like, okay. Well, if he's reloading here, I can reload here, and we should be all good. So,
yeah, my Kimber, that tolerance in that Kimber is so tight that any bullet that I load, I load to that gun because I know it'll work in anything else that I shoot. So that's, is what it is there. But
see, that's awesome. Did you get a chance to get in the external? We got quite a few people out there that you know. I know Pop's Quest. We got a Swinger 70, Stan Ulch, LNB Pro, Insight Freedom, Scab Ugly Channel, and that's it for now. But yeah, I'm basically trying out a new company that I've never used before, RMR, Rocky Mountain Reloads, and they gave me a discount code for everybody, so that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
But it's a good bullet. It actually did a good job in the test that I did yesterday or the day before, and so now I want to try some out, and that's about it.
Good for you.
Now, what is your name?
My name is Roy.
Roy. Okay, Roy. I'm Rick. Nice to meet you. But
I watched your channel quite a bit, believe it or not. So.
Actually, I saw a couple comments not just the other day. I was like, oh, check it out. That's cool. Yeah, you definitely got some great stories and knowledge on reloading, so I definitely appreciate it.
I've been doing it a while, so just put it like that. I'm kind of an old guy. I know I look young and handsome, but I'm a little bit older, so.
I hear you. I'm getting close to the 5-0. I got 4 years left and getting there, but I figure more time to shoot, right?
That's correct. That's true.
That's right. I did all the hard work earlier, and now I'm going to get to screw off here shortly. So I'm on my 29th year in the fire service, so after 30, I'm hopefully going to go shoot a lot more. So, and then you got first place in your division, so that was freaking awesome.
Yeah, the deal with that, I'm going to be 100% honest. I win a lot, but the problem is with Revolver and USPSA and Steel Challenge, there's not very many of us. So
yeah, but if you're getting 4th overall, you're doing awesome.
So, I mean, it is what it is. I have decided several times to try other divisions, like, with the Glocks and the pistols, if you will. But I always go back to Revolver because to me, it's funner. Shooting 30 rounds without reloading, nobody, Pop Quest is going to get mad right here. But, anybody can do that. But, I'm just joking around. But reloading all the time, the Revolver, you're constantly reloading, you're constantly busy, you're constantly working. It's a little bit more difficult than people think. So. Yeah,
I've watched Bald and Curious. I'm not sure if you know his channel or not, but he does some Revolver stuff as well. And it looks like something fun. I've never been a big wheel gun guy. I have one. It was a 22, and it was one of my it was one of my mom's that I just kept, But yeah, definitely looks like a lot more fun. A lot more reloading, that's for damn sure.
I'm gonna say hi to Gravy, and I'm surprised that she remembered that. And so, yes, Gravy, hello, how are you? I miss you. There's a lot of people on here that know me from a past life, and that's what that is. So that's cool that she's on here, or he, I'm sorry.
Was that your old channel, Old Prepping News, or what?
I used to be the news guy for prepping many years.
Well, very good.
So.
Well, that's Papa's Place's wife, and he does a lot of reloading as well.
And I thought that was, but it's been a while, so I just wanted to make sure that I was remembering correctly. So,
yeah, he sometimes he'll get on there on his wife's name because he has trouble sometimes switching it over or whatever. But so you can't ever tell if it's his wife or if it's him. So till he says something.
Yeah, we used to chat a lot on Blog TV. A lot of us. And I don't even know if they have Blog TV anymore. So, but I left that channel for a lot of reasons that a lot of people never knew because it just basically stopped one day. So,
okay. Well, let's see here. Since Roy, the reloader dude, is here, any encouraging ideas before I get started on my overall case length?
Hey, Pop, what's up, buddy? I've known Pop for years, too, by the way.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
I don't know about all that.
Him, and we've had a lot of good times together, so which is fun. He actually, I don't know if you can see all this cabinetry and stuff, Roy.
Yes, sir.
He there's more underneath, you know, the computer down here and stuff, but he hooked me up with all this.
That's
so
cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
Good guy.
it worked out good. These are a little stronger than your shelves because
he's making fun of that. You heard him make it.
oh yeah, I saw it. I saw it. He loves to buzz people up for sure. Definitely.
I had a decent reloading room at one point, but about, I don't know, 15 years ago, my house burnt down. And when it did, I just kind of do things as I please now. I don't know. It works for me, so that's all that matters.
Very cool. You got any new projects on the horizon?
I'm trying to get in this 10 millimeter. Right, you know, at this time of year it's real tough for me with the work that I do. And, you know, with the hunting season coming and the end of the shooting season, if you will, there's a lot of stuff in the background that it takes a lot of my time. And so it's hard for me to work stuff in. But yes, I'm trying to reload for the 10 millimeter now. I'm really interested in maybe trying to reload for the 223 Valkyrie or the 224 Valkyrie that's coming out. And I'd also like to do the 6.5 P, what is it, PRC or PCR, which is like a step above the 6.5 Creedmoor, if you will. So there's a lot of things I'd like to do, but it's a time thing. You know, I'm already so busy that I'm afraid if I keep adding more to it, then it's going to take away from the fun and make it more of a job, if you will. So
yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about that Valkyrie round. Haven't seen one in person. Haven't held one up. You know, just seen people and some targets with really tight groups. I think the Plinkster just did one. Our 22 Plinkster, he shot 1,000 yards and had a really tight group. So definitely looks like a round, not, you know, to definitely think about.
In my neck of the woods, 200 yards is about as long as we can get. I mean, even at a gun range, we have like a private range that, you know, I can be a member of if I wanted to, but it's like a 3-hour drive, and it's just not worth driving 3 hours. But they have where you can stretch it out to a mile. But most of the places that we can go to around here are no more than 200 yards.
Yeah. And that, yeah, I had a 50 BMG when I moved from California to here, and I'm like, I ended up selling it because I'm like, you know, there's so many trees you can't look out past 150, 200 yards, so it's tough. So I got rid of it, and I think I bought a shotgun and a few other things with it. But what do you do? But yeah, your videos have definitely helped. And I do appreciate that. And you got, you know, I want to give you kudos again. There's some more people in here that may or may not know your channel. So definitely check out the Reloader dude on YouTube. Because if you're reloading, he might have a video that'll help you out. And definitely did for me on this adventure of trying to load overall lengths that were too long with a certain bullet, the Acme bullet. So. What else? I don't know if you're familiar. I got my Dylan. I know you got a Dylan.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know yesterday I loaded up 200 rounds. Man, my hands are cramping up, and I was thinking, man, it would be nice to have that. What is it? The not the big one, but the one with the tubes. And then I was thinking, well, I really like the powder check.
I don't, and I'm gonna, you know, I'm supposed to be a Kool-Aid drinking Dylan fanboy, but that powder check for me, it constantly goes beep. So in my world, if you give me too many falses, I won't believe you. So yeah. I took it off because I was getting too many falses, so I didn't believe, you know, what I was getting. So when I took it out, but even not having it hasn't been an issue because you know, over the years I've just learned to look. You know, I look.
Yeah, and I noticed myself doing that anyways, but I do have one powder check that is a pain in the ass, and it does a lot of that. And I almost feel like it's because it's sticky. This one here seems to work really well and doesn't ever give me a hassle. But the one on my 40, I think it's 40. Yeah, the 40 for the Infinity. It's I'm always hearing that damn thing. So then I got to look but yeah, I would love to try that out to see. Is that something you see yourself using a lot, or is it more like, I'm not even going to load those tubes up?
I use it every time I reload now. I use it. The way I do things is, I'm kind of a unique individual on a lot of aspects. So what I do is I have a jar that holds 200 bullets, okay? And I have a jar that holds 200 cases. And I have extra primer tubes. So I know if I put 2 jars of each in certain aspects, it'll all come out to be even at the end. I know that sounds strange, but that's just me. I like things consistent, and I like things the same. I don't like a lot of change because my work life is nothing but change continuously. So my home life, I try to leave things consistent. So when I can take those jars and I can pour them, pour the cases into the case feeder, and I can load up those tubes. And I know when I'm done, I will be pretty close to having them all exact without counting. I don't want to spend the time counting everything. But I know if I fill all those up and I dump them all in, it's all going to be counted correctly.
Yeah, you're right at 200, plus or minus a couple.
Yeah, that's just what I do. So, it works for me because it's quick, it's simple. And when I reload on the Dillon, to me, the Dillon is, God forbid I say this, the Dillon is not reloading. It's making bullets.
Yeah.
Because you're just pulling the handle. So when I do that, I put on some good music. Hopefully it's raining because then it makes me sit there, and then I make enough bullets for like the shooting season or as many as I can at that particular time. So
yeah,
I want to be done with the batch. I don't want to have 30 bullets left over and 25 cases and 16 primers. I want to have it done as a group.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I don't know how anal you are about these kind of things, but like ever since I bought this new machine, because I used to have a Deal Square B, every time I load ammo, it's always in hundreds, basically, the primers. I'll do little check marks of what caliber that I'm doing it. Just because on this one up here that's hanging on the wall, people ask, well, how many bullets have you reloaded with it? I'm like, all I can give them is a basic answer of a shit ton, I don't know. I don't know exactly. But I want to someday, 5 years from now, say I loaded X amount of bullets, and that like have a real number instead of saying a shit ton of bullets.
Yeah, when I get done, I can count how many times I loaded I don't know. I'm going to call them cans. They're not really cans, but load the little containers up, and how many times I dump those. I don't even have to count the bullets when I'm done because I know each of them is either 200 or 400 or whatever it comes out to be. So it just
That's cool. I'm excited. I don't know if I think I might have told you. I don't know. I got a discount code from Acme now, so I'm pretty excited about that.
I seen that. I seen you did.
Yeah, I felt like a big guy, like the reloader dude, like got his own number thing. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, but see, I'm going to one-up you here, okay? So we can just, they sent me a bottle of wine, so it just is what it is.
Well, I don't get free bullets yet, but I got a discount code, so that's all good.
It's a start. Everybody's got to start something. But I want to make it clear, I'm not affiliated with Acme. I just like their products. They're good products, and they work.
You sell out.
So,
no. That video, I have to agree with you on those videos. That, and I even commented, don't worry about those guys. The trolls will always be there. Pop's Quest, he gave you a great answer. If he sends out the things, and he ended up selling over 5,000 of them. That's how you do business. So actually, these guys here sent me some bullets to try out as well. They liked my bullet versus bullet competition, and they had the balls to put their bullets against the other bullets, which I thought was pretty cool. So they did send me 3 different types, and I'm not affiliated with them or anything, but shit, if I can get free bullets, and do a video for them and show whether they're good or bad, it don't matter to me. It's whoever wins. I don't care.
Well, one of the companies that thought I'm going to say some things on here that the problem with live chats is you can't retract anything, right? I can't go back later and delete out the
we can hit the delete button on the overall thing. I don't care.
Maybe I needed to mute this every now and then before I talk.
Just think. It's like texting. Just think about your typing before you hit
It doesn't work for me. That's not how I am. I'm a throw it out there kind of guy. The people either take it or they leave it. But most of the time, I get mad because I only speak the truth. And in today's world, no one wants to hear the truth anymore. And everybody wants you to sugarcoat, powder coat, pat them on the butt, and send them on their way happy. And I just don't do that. That's not my personality. But anyway, the other company that they thought, I guess, that they were exclusively on me, and they got mad as crap because I showed acne bullets on there. But it only took them a year to find out. So I guess that they were really that interested in my opinion.
So go find an old video, and it might be the one, huh?
Well, right now I got all those on private, so nobody could watch them because it's all in how people do things. And if somebody would have come to me and said, "Hey, why are you doing this?" or "Hey, I thought this," or blah blah blah, "Can you explain why?" I would have told them why. But when they come on and instantly start accusing and telling me they do this and they do that, then I'm like, well, they don't do nothing, and I just block them. Yeah,
that's what I thought was cool about this company is the guy's name is Ryan, and he's like, whether we win or lose, I don't care. He's all, he doesn't care, meaning, we'll give you what we sell, and hopefully it does great. Like his whole attitude was amazing. It's like, it's a smaller company, and it's like, hey, we'll give you some stuff, and hopefully our name gets out there a little bit, and
there are a lot of companies that appreciate that, and there are a lot of companies that think that they're better than now. And I found out that quick, and it is what it is. So.
Yeah. Well, it's tough because when I first did these videos, I wasn't using standard deviation, and I was using the window of plus or 0.5 over 124, say if that's what the bullet is, or 123.5, And my thought was, I want the group of bullets to be within that, and then if not, and there was one company which makes your fingers blue that
I used to shoot their bullet for a while too.
That was like 2 grains, which isn't much, but 2 grains over. It wasn't even in the window, but it was a very consistent group. And with standard deviation, I was like, because I have a buddy that's a super really good shooter. Pops actually met him at the 3-gun, but he's very, very knowledgeable. And he's like, well, you need to put in their standard deviation. And I'm like, okay. And because one time I got bullets, I don't remember what company it was, but they were all over the charts. And I was like, this is horrible. And I'm all, but you can have at the average end up with a better bullet weight average than you can with a big group, but over and whatever. So I'm like, so I put that in there, and it seems to be working a little bit better. Because even if you're off, like say you buy 124s, but they're like 126s even, that part for me really doesn't matter. Because they'll still, I feel, group good, and like you said on one of your comments, A-zones is mo beta. It is more important. It is. But it's like my thing was I just want people to be able to look at this stuff and go, okay, I'm going to buy bullet X versus Y because I saw this video or whatever the case is. I don't know. It's something different. Like I put on there, it's kind of trying a little niche, like trying something out where I'm trying to get bullet companies to send me free ammo, basically.
There's nothing wrong with that, no matter what anybody says.
Yeah, I don't care.
Listen, if they want to give you primers and powder too, so be it. Let everybody hate it. Just what it is. I'm going to throw this out there too. The ones that are complaining, most of those people don't have YouTube channels, so they don't understand the work that's required in making these videos. A 10-minute video is not 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes of turning it off and on, cursing behind the scenes, because we're not allowed to curse. And I try not to curse, but every now and then my mouth gets a little carried away, believe it or not. But it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes of setting up equipment just to make the video. And then you got to edit the video, and then you got to upload the video. It's not just a 10-minute video. There's a lot of stuff that go into it.
For sure. And then the people that do like all the super crazy editing, and I mean, that's hours of work I've seen people do. Dang it, and then, you know, for a 5-minute video or whatever. And I'm like, screw, I'm not going to do that. You know, I might put the name in and a few little things that I can do, but it's too much work.
It is.
Ain't got time for that.
I damn sure don't, be honest with you.
And I've noticed that it really doesn't matter whether you put all that crazy crap in there at all. You know, some videos, some people don't care. I mean, I don't care. If it's good content, I'd rather listen to a standard movie or video than some crazy with stuff everywhere.
Well, a lot of people, I think they go overboard and they fail you to realize the reason why YouTube is popular because everybody thinks that they get to know that individual personally. You know, back when I was, here we're going to let it out here, prepping news, a lot of people, you know, I said a lot of things that offended a lot of people, but people liked what I said because they knew I was real. They knew I was who I was. And when you're watching a movie, you're watching actors, fake people. You know, on YouTube, I'm not saying there's no fake people, but I'm saying that we try to give our own personalities, who we are, the best we can. And, you know, we're real people. We're not actors trying to portray something.
Yeah, and you can't, if you've had a YouTube channel for any amount of time, you can't fake that shit. You know what I mean? You may be able to pull off one video, but like, you know, when I met all the guys at the farm, they were who they were. Like, Rob was a cool dude. You know, TR Pepper, a great guy. You know, like, there's no sugarcoating or faking or any of that stuff because it just doesn't happen. Of course, my wife calls.
Hey, you know, it's part of it.
My son, he's the best. He brought me a tea.
Well, I'm not supposed to be doing, but you know, I like a little wine after work, and I know everybody's going to laugh. You're a wine drinker. Well, you know what? I drink a little bit of everything, but yes, wine makes me happy. So it is what it is.
There you go. Little rotten grapes for dinner.
Well, it says that my day is over, is what it says. It's not the drinking or the wine itself. It just says that my work day is over and I get to relax a little bit.
Well, very cool. So on this old thing, did you do a lot of chat stuff before, or was it all in video?
It was, well, that was a pain in the butt. I actually, the YouTube channel, and then I had 4 or 5 people around the country that would actually, it was a news channel is what it was, that would gather the news for me. And then we'd all talk on Skype, if you will, and decide how I was going to present it. I actually had a bunch of stand-in people, like people that wanted to get into communications, if you will. That's what the people that worked in the background, that's what they did.
Wow.
And so I would get on there and I would just basically say whatever I thought. Go ahead.
Thanks.
Talk about the news and what my thoughts were on the news that day. And then it just kind of grew from there. And then people started asking me my opinions. And that's where it all went downhill real quick.
Yeah, once you start voicing your opinions.
So, and then they would ask me about, you know, different opinions back in those times. And I would tell people my opinion, and a lot of people loved it. And there were a few people that were in the higher ups, if you will, of the American administration, we'll just put it like that, that didn't. And lo and behold, they started sending people to my door. And so I said, well, maybe this ought to be enough of that business.
Wow. All right. Alex Jones Jr. over here. I like it.
It was pretty wild. Let me just put it like that. So I ended up, a guy offered me money to sell it, believe it or not. And I just basically, I want to tell you I made a video telling everybody buy, but I don't even know if I did, because back then the heat was on pretty big back then. So
yeah, you're like, oh shit.
It was, they just wanted me to shut up, and I said, okay. So, you know,
they said, here's some money, shut your pie hole.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Or they said, we're going to take some money is more what they said. You know?
Ah, yeah. Well, it sounded like you were telling the truth, because people don't knock on doors when they're not.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, but it wasn't funny at the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's probably funny now, but not back then.
Was not. So go ahead and show people what you were showing them. I mean, I'm building you up. But.
No, no. It's almost embarrassing now that you're here.
No. I'll tell you when you're messing up. Don't worry.
All right. You want to tell them what I'm doing while I'm doing it?
I can't really see you based on how I got my computer screen.
I'm just going to start high on the overall length.
Okay. And what bullet are you loading? Is it the Acme bullets or?
No, these are the RMR jacketed hollow point 124 grain projectiles.
Projectiles. You know, here we go. Why would somebody start calling those projectiles, I wonder?
I don't know.
Kind of like what is it? I'm sorry, I'm going to screw this one up. You don't grip your gun anymore, you purchase it.
Purchase it?
Yeah, you purchase. You got to get a good purchase on your firearm to shoot correctly now instead of gripping it. I always gripped it myself. Yes, Robin, a lot of guys drink wine. There's a lot of stuff that I do in the background that a lot of people would never believe.
Would you say it's too long there, Mr. Roy?
It is too long.
So we're crank this bad doggy down a little bit. That's too long.
Yeah. Yes, insight. Yes. Purchasing a firearm, I understand. The politically correct terms, I don't know. You know, people, I've been gripping guns for 40, I don't want to give my age here, 48 years. And I've never purchased one except the ones I did at the store. So I don't
exactly. When you said purchase, I was going to say, yeah, you have to do that before you can hold on to them. 1128.
I like bourbon inside. I'm not going to lie. I like a little bourbon. Wine is, like I said, wine is my, I don't know. After I get home from work, you know, everybody does what they do for work. My work is pretty stressful. So when I get home and I have that glass of wine, it just, to me, it just signifies that my day is complete. I mean, some people will get that. Some people won't. You know, some people watch TV or, I don't know, go jogging or whatever. I don't do that. I have a glass of wine and that relaxes me. It separates work from home life, if you will. That's what it does for me. I've been doing it that way for, I'm going to tell you, 30-something years. I don't know.
I'm getting close. It's starting to look like a bullet. So we're at 1060. Let me see if it'll fit in there. I'm gonna have to crimp it.
Yeah, you should be getting pretty close at that length.
Yeah, that's looking pretty good.
Yeah. Pretty good.
It actually says on the which book is this one? The Modern Reloading. It's showing 1.169, which is, and the bullet drop. There it is. So I'm already shorter than that a little. But those are usually, yeah, I'm at 1060. So let me grab a different bullet to see what the.
What
so
CZ are you putting it in?
What'd you say?
You said you were putting it in a CZ, correct?
Yeah.
What CZ is it?
The 75 SPO1 Tactical. There's half of it.
I had a 75B, so I kind of in the ballpark of what you're going there with. The CZs are a little bit tighter tolerances than, let's say, a Glock or what I'm going to call a plastic pistol.
See, I like Glocks. What's funny is I was a huge Glock guy, And then over this last year, I haven't even competed with the Glock in probably 5 months. So I've been shooting everything but a Glock lately. I got a really nice Infinity. It's a 3-gun. It's in 40.
Yep.
It's funny, everybody used to give me shit about the 40. They called it the transvestite of because it didn't know if it wanted to be a 9 or a 40, you know?
I like 40. And I like 40 for a lot of different reasons than a lot of people will. You know, I understand all the arguments, you know, which is better. Not, I even have a video on that many years ago, I think, that I did a 9 versus 40 versus 45. I like the 40. You know, it believe it or not, a lot of people going, it has its place. But because of modern ammunition, it's kind of losing its place. But to me, it's a fun round to shoot. It's a fun round to reload for. I mean, I don't shoot as much as I probably should, but you know.
All right. It's still a little open on the crimp, but let me see if it fits. Nope. Crimp it some more, I guess.
Some of you people in the chat need to ask some questions so we got something to talk about. Yeah,
you lazy chat external. Oh, there you go. The crazy Scotsman. He'll ask you a question. Hey, Bad Billy's out there. I'm missing everybody watching here. What's funny is I did the where you screw it to the right tightness, and then I went, I think, a quarter turn, but I don't think I went enough. So let's try it again. What do you usually do, a half turn?
It all depends, and I do everything by feel and by, I don't know, by sound and less by look. A lot of times on jacketed bullets, you don't want to crimp too hard because it actually will interfere with the way the pressures interact, if you will. So I'm going to say on a jacketed bullet, I'm going to say very light crimp, which would probably be about half turn, I would say. I know on the Lees, the half turn's the very light.
See, that looks, it's still too open. When you can see the whole thing, hold on.
And a lot of people tell you don't need to crimp at all. I mean, that's just.
On my 40 cal, I don't. Just, barely, but for some reason, it's not even going in the case check. I got a case of, not a case. I'll show you the container I have. All the bullets that I've wasted. I don't have a puller. I just have a jug, and I throw them in that jug so that someday I may fix it. It's getting better, so it is a crimp. There we go, a little more, I think. It's looking better. Still not flush. Could be the case too.
Crimp makes a little bit of difference, but on your 9mm, it shouldn't be that big a deal.
There we go. Now she fell in. Yeah, I think I was just so slow, and it looks pretty. It doesn't look super crimp, which is nice. You can still, like catch your nail on it and stuff. The big question. Oh, there we go.
Looks good. Can push it down in there and see if you can turn it a little bit.
Yeah, I can.
Then it's good. It fits that gun, that chamber.
See, now the question I should ask since you're here is, should I try one longer and then see if I can still pull it off? Like, but see, that's a good looking round. It's not too far, I don't know, in my opinion.
You know, you're going to ask me questions and I'm going to give you my answer, and then everybody's going to hate me. You know that, right?
Okay, never mind. Don't answer.
Because everybody, you know, the world of shooting, I was going to make a video on this. It's just a matter of time. But, you know, the world will tell you need to be 3 thousandths off your lands and grooves, or 5 thousandths off, or 10,000, whatever. And I'm going to tell you, yes, but they're all full of shit. Okay. And that's my French. But you do need to, but it's to me, it's kind of like putting methane in your car. You know, you can put nitromethane in a dragster and it'll work great. But you put that same nitromethane in your regular car going down the road, you ain't going to have a car for long. So the same thing with this lands and grooves thing. You need to match it to your gun, but you don't need to be so specific where you have to have it 3 thousandths or 5 thousandths or 10 thousandths off the grooves. You just need it to work consistently. And that's the reason why I load everything to that Kimber, because even though that Kimber is really tight tolerances, and I know the Glock barrels are not, I can get by with 15, 20 thousandths, 30 thousandths longer. It doesn't matter because of the way the bullet is designed in that particular gun. A lot of people overthink this. It's not that difficult. You know,
yeah.
Once they get it good, they think that they can make it better and better and better. And you just can't really. It is what it. When you get to a point where it just is what you're going to get.
See, and like I have a Glock 43 barrel here, and it you know, it fits, but it doesn't give you that nice sound like a CZ does. You know, that click. You know that. But yeah, yeah, the Glocks, they do eat pretty much everything. Well, cool. Now I got that set up.
And a lot of people, you know, that I'll say, okay, your case overall length is too long. And believe it or not, 99% of people's problems is their cases are too long. And because the reason why is because they're trying to get them so close to the lands grooves. And I'm telling you, you don't need to do that. In long distance competitive rifle shooting, where you're trying to shoot out to 1,200 yards with a tight chambered rifle with a match grade this and blah, blah, blah that, well then yes. But when you're just shooting pistol bullets or even just regular rifle bullets, you don't have to do that. The overall, you know, when people say, well, an AR will hold a 2.260 case length. When all the book says 2.2, well, if the book says 2.2, load it at 2.2 because it'll work just fine for you, I promise.
Exactly. Well, it's always fun to overthink shit, right?
Yeah, I guess.
So let me write this down before I forget. 1.060.
But a lot of people, you know, reload for Glocks will say, well, I load mine at 1.120 and it works fine. If you're shooting out of a Glock, it should work fine at that. But a lot of people don't shoot Glocks. I mean, not everybody is a Glock fanboy. You know, I can take that Glock barrel of mine and I can turn right around and take that Wilson Combat barrel of mine. They're both Glock barrels, but they are totally different. I can't load the Glock barrel at one length and the Wilson Combat at something else because, you know, it won't fit. So.
See, and that's how my Infinity is. The guy that had it before me built a beautiful recipe for accuracy and everything.
Right.
So I actually I match that every time, and it does have a longer overall case length, but it's basically considered my Infinity bullets. So that's the one I shoot for 3-gun, but I have them marked, you know, in the cases. I got a Isyour6covered sticker on it, and I know it's just for that pistol. So,
well, people ask me all the time, do I reload specifically for the revolver and for the pistols? And the answer is no. When it's ran on that Dillon, they are all the same coming off that Dillon. Because when I go in there and I grab a handful out of my 50 caliber ammo cans, I'm not going to look and try to see or decide or decipher or nothing. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to go. And so I want it to, and because of that, I want it to be able to work in all of them. I don't want to pick and choose I'm not going to have 50 little blue ammo boxes with different names on them for different, because I'm going to tell you right now, what's going to happen is I'm going to grab one, they're going to fall on the floor, and they're all going to get mixed together anyway. Okay. Because that's just the way life works. So if I put them all the same length anyway, I don't have to worry about it. So.
Now, do you run one of those, it might have been your video or somebody's video I saw, the 100, I know Pops has one where it's like 100 rounds of 9 or 40 or, the case gauge thing where it's, where you throw them all in there. Do you have one of those?
No.
Okay.
I run a individual case gauge. Okay. Case gauges are great. They're a great tool, just like, any other tool, but they're not the ultimate tool. The ultimate tool is your barrel. Right. I use those. But when I use those, I'll only check like 2 or 3 of them, and then I don't check the next 3,000. So I don't check every bullet.
I check every bullet.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Everybody is different.
I got screwed a couple times in some competitions, and I'm like, and I even did a video on it. I don't remember what the hell I named it, but if it was about talking about if you're going to spend the time and energy to make a recipe, and then I'll do all this stuff, and then all of a sudden your gun doesn't function. It's like why not check them? So.
Okay, and here's where we're going to disagree. Are you ready? So why didn't you load them right the first time, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it? You see what I'm saying? If they all would have fit the first time, then they would have fit the last time. Especially out of a Dillon or a die. You understand what I'm trying to say? What I'm saying is, if your overall case length is right, and your powder is right, and your primer is right, and you don't change your dies out, it's the same die, your first one and your last one should be the same, if it is correct.
Yeah, if you did everything right.
If you did everything right.
That doesn't always happen, so I have to double check my work. I'll show you a funny example.
Okay, show me an example. Tell me I'm wrong.
All right, here it is. All right, see this bucket of bullets? Every one of these is a screw up in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, why are they screwed up?
Because a lot of times I won't even run powder when I'm checking heights, like to get the right height. So I'll just make bullets with no powder, and then I'll throw them in there. You know what I mean? Like, but most of these I would say didn't. Well, let's just try one. And it's always usually going to be this guy. So here's a 40.
Okay. So you didn't make that one right, is what you're saying.
So I'm assuming I didn't go all the way down. I didn't do something right.
Right. So just don't do that no more. Make them right from the get-go and don't worry about it.
Hey, I'm not as experienced at this. I'm like, look at that one.
And all the bullets that you keep wasting by putting them in there with no powder, they I don't know if you know this, they won't go bang with no powder very well.
Well, there's probably only a few in there that did that.
But you understand, I'm being funny here, but I'm also being serious.
I'm gonna sell these. I'm gonna sell these in to my shit hits the fan. Someone wants bullets. I'll be like, okay, here you go, bucket of bullets.
At my job, this is going to be kind of funny, and they kind of laugh at me at first, okay, and that is, all I expect is you to be perfect every day. And people say, well, you can't be perfect every day. And I'm telling you, you can. You can be perfect. If you can make your first bullet perfect and it works perfect, and your 10th bullet is perfect, your 50th bullet should be perfect as well. And 70th should be perfect. So if you do what you're supposed to do every time, then it should work for you. Case gauges are a good checker. And I understand what you're saying. Well, in competition, I want to make sure they work. I get it. But if you shoot as many, for instance, there was a point where I was shooting 8 different matches a month at 250 rounds, 250 to 300 rounds per match times 8 to get ready for a national event. you think I really had time to check every one of those bullets? There was no way there was that much time. So the deal is just make them right all the time, and you'll never have to worry about it.
So it wouldn't fit the other one.
Right.
So luckily I have kids that like to shoot. So I'm like, all right, I got my little what do they call it? Sweat lodge or sweatshop. No, so every once in a while, if the kids are out here, I'll be like, hey, will you check these bullets? And that always helps. Not all the time.
There's nothing wrong with checking them. There's nothing wrong with checking.
No,
you want. I'm just, but what I'm saying is I don't know how long you've been reloading or how long you've been playing with this or whatever. What it is confidence. It's going to sound cocky as all get out. I know. I'm confident when I make that bullet, it's going to be right.
Yeah.
Because I took the time at the beginning to make it right. I made sure that my case overall length was right. I made sure that my crimp was right. I made sure that my powder and my primer were right. And I made sure that it worked in what I would call a tighter tolerance gun, and it worked every time, that I should never have to worry about it because I know it's right all the time. It's not because I think I'm better than anybody else or smarter than anybody else by any means. It's just I know I took the time to make it right from the get-go, and I know it's going to be right in the end.
Well, see, and I think some of those are probably like a short stroke, where I didn't reseat the case all the way. I don't know. But like when you throw them in the chamber checker and all of a sudden it's sticking out that high, you're like, well, something ain't right.
And a lot of times people, first thing they want to do is say it's a crimp issue. And a lot of times it's not. I short stroked the size and, when I resized it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why things happen. But the good thing about the Dillon is if you do the stroke correctly every time, and you make sure that is where you're focusing your attention, not on, what your next wine's going to taste like tomorrow. You stroke it correctly, you will do it right every time. Yeah. And that's just like at my job, it takes me a while to teach people you can be perfect, and I expect perfection. But once they understand what level of perfection is, then they get it. They realize, hey, I can be perfect. Just like, today when you drove to town to get you a sandwich or whatever, you drove there perfectly and you drove home perfectly. You are capable of driving perfect. Now just make that conscious decision every time you drive to do it perfect. Same thing with the reloads. That's all I'm trying to, if you did it once, you did it twice, you can do it every time perfect.
Yeah. And I feel more proficient, with more rounds loaded. I'm learning little tricks on clicking the primer and, not trying to, before I'd have primers kept coming out until we got the thing, and, like, oh my God, there's got to be a, but it's all just practicing and learning and figuring out.
It looks easy until you do it. And then once you do it, you learn that there's a lot of little quirks or nuances that you have to overcome. Then once you learn those, you just do it that way every time.
Yeah. And that's what makes it's fun. It's a new learning deal, That's like fly fishing. Anybody can conventional fish, but the guys that like want to learn all the technical mumbo crap about fishing, go to fly fishing because there's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo stuff. For sure. Let's see. See what everybody's saying out there. Turns out you guys are awesome. Any questions, you guys? You got the master over here. You can ask him some questions. He may not tell you anything, but you can at least
make shit up as I go. So
that's right. So now I don't know how you do it, but like now I want to make a big batch of those ones, and then I won't have to worry about those for a while, because swapping back and forth and having to change the the overall links and all that kind of crap. That's what's kind of cool. I'm a lazy reloader, Roy. So like basically the 3.9 grains of tight group. I run that with every bullet I own for 9mm.
There's nothing wrong with that. Do you shoot USPSA? I mean, what do you shoot?
No, mostly IDPA and then 3-gun stuff.
And what's the IDBA power factor?
The place I shoot, they don't even get involved in that shit. It's more fun shoots. The power factor stuff, when I'm shooting my 40s, when I worry about it. And I just basically, with that load, with that bullet, with that thing, everything's good. And I'll just make a ton of those and call it good.
Tight grip is my favorite powder. It's what it's one I know. A lot of people don't like tight group for certain reasons. I like tight group because I've been using it for so long. I know I can almost look at a bullet now and tell you this is what I'm going to put in it right from the start. I don't have to think about it. Like with that particular bullet you're loading there, 3.9 is fine. With a hollow point, I might bump it up a little bit, 4.1. But if I was going to use a lead bullet or a lead coated bullet, I'd have it down to 3.6. So I just on the 124, 125 grain bullets.
And that's what you're running, 3.6?
3.6.
Yeah, see, and that's the reason why I went up to 3.9. I was messing around with 3.8, 3.9 for a long time. But we got a serious question out there. Robin Jones says, does anyone ever ask if they can rub the top of your head?
No. People that know me don't mess with me. Let me just put it like that. I don't know why. I'm a nice guy. But no one asked me to rub my head.
Very cool. So I've been trying, and I wanted every pistol that I own in 9mm to run. Right. So I bumped the powder up a grain or so, and then that way I don't have to worry about it.
I run that 3.6 in my Glock 40s with 9mm barrels.
3.6? 40? Like, yeah, see, I run 3. What is my 40? I got it on here, I think. I think I'm at 3.62 as well. With the 180 grain projectile.
Yeah, what I'm saying was when I swap out that 40 barrel and put a 9mm barrel in it, even with that bigger spring, it'll still run at 3.6.
Oh, gotcha.
Gotcha. Now, if you're happy with the 3.9, do not change. I mean, you understand. Leave it at 3.9. If that's the power factor you like, if that's the recoil you like, if that's what makes you, giggle at the end of the day, then leave.
Yeah. It. See, I mostly shoot 40 anyway, so my 9 stuff, like with 3.9, it doesn't kick anyways. You know what I mean? It's like, so I don't know if it's just I'm used to shooting the 40 and it doesn't bother me or what, but it does. I would say kick more than if I was to load some really nice loads.
I load everything to power factor, and a lot of people, and people ask me why, and the answer is I don't know. It just works for me. You should reload to reloading manuals. They got these books that have all this nice information in them that tell you what to do. That's how you reload for. But see, a lot of bullets that I get, there's no such thing as a manual on that bullet, so I have to make crap up as I go. And so I just take that power factor as like my minimum standard, and that's what I reload, because that's how I know if I'm gaining pressure signs or stuff like that. I can judge it based on that power factor level. So I reload everything to a power factor, which sounds odd, but that's the way I do it. Because a lot of bullets I get, there's no load data on. A lot of the Acme bullets I got, there was zero load data. Acme created a couple bullets and they sent them to me and say, hey, can you see what you can do with this? See if there's, what kind of load data you can get, and that can be scary if you don't have a beginning way to go. And so I load everything to that power factor so I have a perceived way to go.
Yeah. And I've come across that too, where I can't find any data for it. And I'll have to dance between blogs, basically seeing what people are saying here and here, just to make sure one's not super light or over, and then, listening to you and trying to do the best I can, basically. Got the hiccups now. But yeah, I don't, like on the 40, I was trying to keep everything nice and light and shoot really flat. With the 9, I don't really care.
I care. I'm the reloader dude. They all got to be perfect.
That's right. You don't have a bucket of screwed up bullets like I do?
No. I've got like a little, I'm going to call it a baby food jar where
Oh, that's too many.
Well, it's where I smashed the case, where the case didn't go in all the way, and instead of stopping, I just crushed it. Just stuff like that, but nothing really. I wouldn't, and I'm not going to tell you that I don't have any mistakes, because that's not true. I do have mistakes, but my mistakes aren't what I would call normal mistakes. I mean, mine are, the bullet thing will run out of bullets, and I'll keep going 3 or 4 bullets and not realize, oh crap, I'm out of bullets. Don't reload like that, by the way. Make sure you pay attention. So
Swinger's he has a question about what makes a plus or plus P bullet, and then he said just powder, basically.
Yes, you can also get a little bit of plus P action with a change in primer. It's not the way I would recommend it, but yes, it just has to do with adding extra powder to the projectile. But it also can require different powders to get those plus P velocities without getting over pressurization signs. It's not just hey, I can take 3.6 grains of tight group and we can move it up to 4.4 and I'm going to get it to plus P velocities. That doesn't necessarily work, because you have to do it per the powder. I know that sounds kind of odd, but because some powders, for example, I can take a 140 grain bullet. Okay. I can put 3 grains of powder under that bullet. I can take a 147 grain bullet and put 3 grains of powder under it. Technically, the 140 grain should have less signs of pressure because it's a lighter bullet, correct? Should have less pressure as it's coming out of the barrel. And in some cases, based on the powder, I can get that 140 to have more pressure than the 147. Which sounds
just with powder, not with the crimp.
Just with the powder and the same powder. What I'm saying is I can take that 147 bullet with the same 3.0 powder and the 140 bullet with the same, or we'll call it 135 bullet with the same powder charge, exact same powder, and I'll overpressurize that 130 and not the 147. So, and the reason why is there's so many nuances that go to this pressure aspect that it's fouling and reloading is because, I mean, it's hard for me to explain because, the English language is not as good as my brain works. But because of the powder and because of the way that the powder ignites and the way the powder expands, you can overpressurize rounds before you get to that P plus P level is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you can't just add more powder. You might have to change powder completely to get to the plus P velocity. And
I've noticed with tight group, it seems like I was using a Ram Silhouette, that target or pistol Ram. What the hell's that shit called? Yeah, the Silhouette, Ram Shot Silhouette. But when I switched over to tight group, I noticed there was quite a bit less grains that was needed for the same bullet. So that's what I thought was cool about tight group is you had to, less powder.
Well, you know what they say, if you don't have full case capacity when you're reloading, you're not going to get accuracy, right? By the way, that's a bullshit statement.
It works for me. I don't know.
Okay.
Works, it's fine.
My 223, my most accurate reloads have the most least powder in them. So when somebody said, that's what I was saying earlier, you can't really take what everybody says and say it's truth. If that was the case, then everybody would be running nitrometh in their person. I mean, it doesn't work in all cases. And that's like plus P there. You got to put the right plus P. You can't just, somebody said, well, you can just add more powder. That is not necessarily the case, because some of those powders you started adding too much tight group, you're going to wish you didn't really fast, because it's going to hurt something.
Yeah. You might have some metal pieces flying in different directions.
If you go too much, you will.
Yeah.
But most of the time people see pressure signs and then they don't notice it as being pressure signs. Or they see the pressure signs and then don't care that they're having pressure signs because they want velocity. I don't give a crap about velocity. I give a crap about having a little bitty hole at the end of the target at the end and not blowing my hand off. So that's what
and have them all like this.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's what's most important.
Yeah.
Velocity is important to a point, but it's not the most important.
No, it's better to have a tight group, especially for competition. You're shooting targets, some steel. It doesn't really matter. You know, you're not trying to get expansion of a hollow point or depending on what you're trying to do.
What is Stan asking or saying there? I found with reloading, if you load too heavy, the higher rating, you will end up having unburnt powder and fouling down the barrel. You can?
Yeah, you'll see some of those guys that'll shoot, and it's just a big ball of flame and powder basically igniting way after the, big ball of flames basically.
And like I said, it's due to, burn rate differences, pressure a little bit, not necessarily. Pressure is a unique character in those firearms. A lot of people think, well, if you just put more powder, you're going to create more pressure. Not necessarily. I mean, I know that sounds odd, and there's no really way for me to explain it, but there's a lot of stuff on there that it's more than that. I mean, it's more than just adding powder. You can seat the bullet in a little farther, and that'll make a difference. You can have bullets moving around when you're shooting. That'll make a difference. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that creates pressure and not just the powder in and of itself.
I tell you what, I really like these Acme. They're tough. The coating on them is tough compared to those other ones we talked about earlier. It seemed like I didn't have it open wide enough or something. It seemed like I was always getting some blue shavings in those.
I've used blue bullets. I've used black bullets. I've used green bullets. I've used another type of red bullet that I damn sure ain't going to talk about because I don't like those people no more. They're fine company. They're fine people. It's just, they PP'd my Cheerios, if you will, one day. Hi, C-Max. Hi, buddy. How are you? C-Max, that's my buddy right there. So
there he is.
Right there. So,
and Chris, how you doing, buddy? Well, anything else you want to tell everybody before we get out of here?
Not me. I think you have a great channel. Keep it up. And how long have you been reloading now? When did you actually?
Well, shotguns I've been reloading for a long time, since like 97. Right. But I went into pistol stuff just a few years ago, and then rifle this last year, and I still suck at it. There's still case trim, all that stuff isn't as fun as doing pistols. So I haven't made much of that stuff, but yeah, I'm definitely newer to the game. I mean, shotgun used to be my thing. I used to shoot competitively a long time ago, but everything else is more new.
I was a sub-junior champion for 3 years in a row, and then I was a junior champion for, I want to say, 4 years in a row when I shot shotgun.
Nice.
I used to be fairly good with a shotgun.
Yeah, I remember watching I was thinking it was an older video of yours when you were talking about your parents started you started reloading because of shotgun. You were competing a lot, and you're like, if you want to shoot, you got to reload.
That's exactly what happened. They were like, we're not buying these. If you want to shoot, reload. And I reloaded. Then next thing you know, they found out that the reloads were actually working, because there's a learning curve in there. And my dad reload. My dad shoots cowboy action. My stepdad shoots cowboy action shooting. He's been reloading. I can remember, like I said, sitting at the bench at 3 and 4 years old, which most people can't remember that far back, but I can, because it was, I don't know how to say it. It was a unique experience, if you will. You don't ever remember what happened day to day, but you remember the unique stuff.
That's
or
right.
The stuff that you found, like, oh, that was really, really cool. And back then, even at that age, I thought, well, that's really cool, because, he sat there with his old little broke down rock chucker and his, with the scoops,
Yeah.
And that's how he used to do it. And I found it intriguing, and so that's basically where it all started. So I've been doing this. I've been doing it a while. But, just because I've done something a while doesn't mean I know everything, because I absolutely do not. Because that's the cool thing about reloading, is as soon as you think you know something, somebody else is going to come in and tell you something else that's going to change the aspect or change the game of it. So
Well, and just with all the technology and the powders and the bullets and everything, you know, you're never going to be able to ever say I know everything. You know, it wouldn't be fun if you ever did. You know, then you wouldn't have something to learn. So, other than that, if you want to do an outro, Roy, and we'll get going, and then it was awesome meeting you.
It was nice meeting you. You know, I want to say thank you for everybody that showed up. You know, like I said, I got to see a couple old people on there, knew from me from a previous life. It's nice seeing them again, and I do appreciate you having me.
Well, thanks. Yeah, thanks for showing up. I'd like to do one of these every so often. It'd be kind of fun, just talk reloading. So if you're interested, I did put my cell number in the internal chat if you want. But yeah, I'll keep you updated on if you want to do another chat or whatever the case is. But definitely great to learn.
Be so hard on you next time, okay?
Oh yeah, it was horrible. No, other than that, I appreciate all you guys out there in the external watching. Hopefully you learned something. It was cool to kind of, it wasn't really an interview, but it was fun, hanging out and learning from everybody out there as well. C-Max, God bless you, buddy. Hopefully everything's getting better. And to the rest of you guys out there as well, stay safe. And remember, is your six covered? Talk to you guys later.